Ever feel like you're living the same story over and over again, even when you've sworn you're not going to do it again? The same arguments, the same sabotage, the same burnout. Well, that's not a coincidence, love. That's a loop. It's a pattern. And here's the thing, it's not yours. So why do we get stuck in these patterns, in these loops? Well, you might have heard me say it before, 95% of our life is really us stuck on autopilot. We think that we're conscious, that we're awake and aware, but we're not. We're reacting. We're reacting to the world around us, and we're actually acting from our subconscious mind, the beliefs that have been downloaded into us before the age of about 7, 8 years old, back when we were children in our theta state. So it's not that we're broken or there's anything wrong with us. It's that we've been conditioned. Imagine that each of us is, well, like a laptop or a smartphone. We get a new phone and we think, oh, it's brand spanking new. It's mine. Nobody else has touched it. But of course they have. Other people not only made the phone, but they downloaded all these apps on it. You didn't even have a choice as to which apps it came with. It was just assumed which ones would be best for you by the person that put them on there. And we accepted it. And that's a lot like us as we move through childhood. And we're not only just downloading these patterns from our parents, we're downloading them from our teachers, from our families, from our neighborhood, society, but then we're also downloading from the news, from TV, from the radio. What music was popular when you were a child? What were the things being said? What was going on in the world? What was being listened to on the radio and the news when your parents were listening to it or watching it? And it was just there in the background. Think about that. All those things, all those patterns, all those words being said by random strangers were being downloaded into your programming. That's pretty crazy. And until we challenge these defaults, this is really how we run. And then we come along and we get our phone and we download a new app and we're like, this is what I want in my life. Download abundance. And all of a sudden, the abundance app that we download doesn't work, or at least doesn't work well with the poverty program that was put on the phone before we got it. So think about that. You're absorbing the world around you as a child. And if there was poverty issues in your neighborhood or in your home, or things being said about money, about people with money, and then all of a sudden here you are trying to become abundant, whether you're working for it, whether you're working from a vibrational frequency, whether you're working from a job, from a vocation, from schooling, it's still not working together. It's like we have these two apps, these two programs that can't work in the same mainframe. So if you downloaded that love meant self-abandonment, it meant that you had to not listen to your wants, your desires, your truth, but you had to please other people to get love, that you would only be loved or liked if you behaved in a certain way, then that's what we are going to take into our adulthood. And it's a subconscious programming. So even though you want to change these things, you want better quality of relationships, if 95% of our life is being run by subconscious mind, then subconsciously we're automatically going to have that love means self-abandonment. And we're going to want love, and yet there's something about it that's going to scare us. If success means struggle, and that's what you witnessed or grew up believing, then the same thing's going to happen. Suddenly, you're going to be sabotaging any time that abundance is, or success comes with a state of flow, with a state of ease, because you have been taught that it means hustle, it means struggle. So those pieces just aren't going to work together. So suddenly you find yourself reacting like a 10-year-old when your partner or your best friend doesn't text you back right away. That's not you. That's your inner child, the wound inside of yourself that is reenacting. So how do we change the program? How do we disrupt it? Well, the fastest way to interrupt it is to get conscious, to become aware. Awareness is like a dagger in the loop. Think about it. It's moving around and around, and you're just sleeping and letting it flow. But the moment you stick your finger in or stick the knife in, it's like, stop. One of the ways that we can do this is to question things and get really, really curious. And the greatest question we can ask is this even mine? Or did I inherit it? And when we ask these questions, it's not that we are trying to override the system. It's what we're really trying to do is witness it, to name it. We need to pause. If you look at the traditions of mindfulness, of meditation, this is what it is coming in for. It's an opportunity to allow us to witness what is running there. It's an opportunity to get quiet and see the play that is acting out all the time. And so when we get scared, if somebody says, oh, I'm not good at meditation or mindfulness practices because, I automatically am thinking and I'm off doing something. And it's like, okay, well, that's all right. You want to be aware of thoughts. Just keep becoming more aware of the thought. So sometimes our mindfulness meditation can be on our thoughts, or we can ask a specific question and just let it play on it. And in the beginning, it may be that the ego is like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, did we leave the burner on? Did we, oh, right, I was supposed to put in a load of laundry, and we'll start getting up and try to get out of the situation. But if we just keep like, oh, hold, interrupt it, sit back down, close the eyes, get quiet again. Is this mine or did I inherit it? Just witness what is going on for you. We need to rewire the nervous system, not just the mind. And that becomes important. It's a somatic experience. Our body is constantly trying to tell us what is going on. The mind's whirling all over the place, and the body's sitting there going, hey, we have an issue. That's why we have emotions like anxiety. The reason why we have emotions such as fear. Those emotions are there, and I think of them as like little warning lights. You're in a big factory, and all of a sudden there's a fire and the little lights start coming on, woo, woo. And that is exactly what an emotion is like. It's like, hey, I'm here and we have a problem. And you're not aware of it. You're not present in yourself. You're just going on and not noticing what's the problem. So how do we rewire the nervous system? Well, we can use tactics such as breath work, relaxation, relieving breath work, such as a 4-count breath in, a pause at the top, and an 8-count breath out, especially through the mouth, So if we inhale through the nose for 4 counts, pause at the top, and then exhale through the mouth with a gentle sigh or a ha. And we do about 10 rounds of this breathing. It's one of the ways that we can release or do a cortisol detox. So we start to reset the nervous system using something that we have available to us all the time. That's why breath work is so powerful, because it's always with us. It's just half the time we're breathing subconsciously and we're not really thinking about it. So if you're having a hard time connecting with your body, saying that there's a problem, the place that we can find the answers very quickly as to what's going on for me is we can check in with the quality of our breath. If the breath is moving quite fast, quite rapid, if we're breathing more into our tertiary breathing muscles of our neck, of our shoulders, those are warning symbols that we have a problem, that we are in a stress state. So, and then even if we're breathing into our rib cage, that also sits and goes, well, maybe we're in a water state. Maybe we're in a neutral place if we're breathing with our secondary breathing muscles, especially if you don't really think about breathing. It might be the way that you breathe quite often. If we want to get ourselves down into a calm state, we want to get into a belly breath. So when we're breathing in through the nose, we're letting our waistline or our navel expand as we inhale. And then we're letting the navel draw back in as we exhale. And so we're using our primary breathing muscle. And the reason that we do this, there's a lot of reasons actually, but one of the reasons that we do this is the vagus nerves run through the breathing diaphragm. They run through the diaphragm at the throat, the glottis. They run We have left and right. They run through the diaphragm when we're breathing, and they run all the way down to the pelvic floor. So by softening the pelvic floor, which might be easier to feel at our anus or our genitals, we can soften the pelvic floor, soften our throat, expand our waist as we inhale for those 4 counts. And then as we exhale, there's just gentle retraction like a balloon coming in as we exhale. And then we expand on the inhale, and then we contract on the exhale. And we start to slow these breaths down to allow our body to come back into a state of homeostasis. We can also use things such as restorative yoga, somatics. We can use EFT, tapping. These are all ways that we can release or reset the nervous system. So any sort of energy work can really help us as we're going through this. And you can think of these as tools of unlearning, which is a favorite phrase of mine. So how can you support yourself to unlearn what you were downloaded with? And once we've uninstalled the old program, it's now easier for us to reinstall the new program. And we do this by using repetition and higher or elevated emotions. The subconscious mind is like a child. And so it learns when we repeat a new story, and we do it with feeling. This is also a NLP technique where we can trick the subconscious mind into a new story that is more supportive to us being safe and us being secure, us being supported within this world around us. And we can do this using visualization. We can use micro actions. So if, say, you wanted to be more abundant, then we could use visualizing, what does that future self look like? How do they move? How do they dress? And we take the time to go quiet. Maybe it's closing our eyes or softening the gaze. Maybe you want to do this in the shower, but we take time to visualize our future self. And when we visualize our future self, we also want to bring emotion into it. Maybe that's gratitude. Maybe that's joy, happiness. What would they feel like, this future version of yourself? How would they behave? How would they move? How do they breathe? How does their life look? And so it's a bit like daydreaming, except we get to do it as an adult, and we do it extraordinarily intentionally. And then we take the actions that align with this future version of ourselves, and we choose love over and over and over again, so that when fear is screaming, we lean into that discomfort and we move closer and closer to the life that we desire, to the feelings that we want to feel. So the big piece about this is we're changing the feeling experience for us. So if abundance is a higher vibrational frequency, it's going to be more in attunement with gratitude, with authenticity, with love, with joy, compassion, excitement, awe. And all of these things are heightened emotions, and emotions being magnetic, we're drawing different experiences to us. And abundance isn't just financial. Abundance is relationships. Abundance is experiences. Abundance is life. And with all of this being said, I would love to invite you to my upcoming VIP day, where we're going to be deep diving into a lot of this work. We're going to be going all the way down into the roots of the subconscious mind. So what will be happening is we will be doing some soul clearing. We will be doing some soul reclamation, breathwork, and somatic releases to shake out the old pain, our old suffering that isn't serving us anymore, and coaching really that calls your power to the front of your life, to take more of a leadership role. And we'll be doing real-time shifts that you can feel in your bones. If you're done with spiritual band-aids and you want to walk out different than how you came in, this is for you. Drop me an "I'm ready" in the comments, or you can check our website at practicalspiritualismco.com. You are not meant to repeat the same patterns in just a prettier outfit. You're here to burn the damn pattern down and choose again, awake, sovereign, and embodied. Give this video a thumbs up if it woke something up in you. Hit subscribe if you want more of the real. And remember, this path isn't cute, but it is holy. Until next time, brightest of blessings.